I have a couple of things. I don't know if let me try to articulate them. So I think at one level, sometimes I fear that we become like the non-Shias. You know, you say, somebody asks a non-Shia, what madhab do you follow? You're Hanafi, you're Hanbali. And I think we've almost become like that. We're a Sistani, we're a Khamenei, we put ourselves into the group of one marja, and then we can't see beyond him. So when it comes to tafsir al-Quran, let's say, right, somebody would read a verse and say, well, what does Ayatullah Sistani say? Well, if he's not a mufassir, then I would not be asking him for an opinion. Or somebody comes in the month of Muharram, let's say, and mentions an opinion about the tragedy of Karbala, and you would say, well, what does Agha Sistani say? Well, if he's not a historian, he would not have an opinion. And in every field of study, right, his expertise is, let's say, fiqh and usul al-fiqh. We respect him, we follow him in that area, but we don't do taqleed to him in akhlaq or aqaid or tafsir of Quran or irfan or history. So I think as a Khoja community especially, and I've seen this unfortunately from some major Shia Khoja organizations where they came on the record of saying that we write a yearly report, but we don't give it to anybody other than Agha Sistani because we don't have any need for any other Maraja. You know, to box yourself so into such a limited frame, not realizing that like the likes of Ayatollah Nasim Akaram with a great tafsir of Tafsir Namuna, or like Ayatollah, Sheikh Jawadi Amali, 100-volume tafsir of the Quran, that we need to recognize that these are experts in these areas, and we need, I personally say we need to promote them, right? Not the sense that we need to promote them because they need promotion. They're not in it for the fame and glory and for more followers, but they have so much valuable information to contribute other than fiqh, because we're just so fixated on fiqh and ahkam and haram and halal, which is good, obviously, but there's a world of Islam out there, right? And we're just so worried about all these little things which have to be there, but what about akhlaq? What about tafsir of the Quran, right? What about all these other sciences which the faqih does not write about, he doesn't speak about, right? So why don't we know, for example, that Ayatollah Ulama Sheikh Safi Gul Pagani has written a 3-volume encyclopedia on the 12th Imam from Shia and Sunni sources? Why don't we know that he has a 15-volume book in Persian on the 12th Imam? And that he is our foremost, he's not only the most eldest of the Maraja Taqlid, over 105 years old, but he has so many books on the 12th Imam that he is like our walking encyclopedia about any issue about the 12th Imam. I wouldn't go to my mujtahid and ask him, or my Maraja and ask him about the 12th Imam when I have a man who's written thousands of pages. But because us as a Khoja community, I think we're too scared, we're too insulated to one Maraja because our parent body says all you Khojas must follow one marja. We don't look beyond and look at the beauty that we have in the Hawza Ilmiya of historians, of hadith experts, of akhlaq experts, of experts in theology and philosophy and all these branches, and we just stick to the Risala and that's it. So I would personally say that, and that's why if you look at the translations that I do, I don't stick to one area. I'll do, working on tafsir of the Quran, on akhlaq, on history, on irfan, spirituality, to introduce our community to these great personalities we have, because it's the beauty in all of these scholarship that gives us the beauty of Islam, right? If you look at a garden, you're not just going to have one rose in a garden, right? You'll have many different flowers and trees and plants will be in a garden. So we have all of this beautiful, all these flowers blooming within the Shia community. But when we just become so fixated on marja, and we don't look at, okay, fine, I don't do taqleed to Sheikh Nasim Akarim, let's say, so I'm not going to go to look at his Risala because I follow another marja, let's say, but I can still take his tafsir of Quran or his commentary of, Nahjul Balagha, and I can refer to that. I don't have to do taqleed to him in tafsir, but I can refer to his opinions. But when as a community, when we don't introduce these personalities to the world, to our, small Khoja community, when we just speak about the faqih that we follow, I think we lose a lot that way too. We lose that beauty of Islam that every Maraja, or even Mujtahideen, we have many female Mujtahideen in Qum who are teachers, who great students or great scholars would go to them. But when we don't introduce them to the world, then I think we're doing ourselves a disservice. Maybe we're scared, if they find out about Ayatollah Makarim, people will shift and all the khums money will go to him rather than our coffers. Maybe that's why we don't introduce them. And I mean, I'm very passionate about this. And so I think we need to introduce all of the Maraja,